Hello, and welcome to another episode of Liberty Bytes. William Gadsden is still on vacation, so I'm Vinny Marshall filling in yet again. Liberty Bytes is a podcast that's part of the Think Liberty podcast network. You can subscribe to the network by favoriting us on any of the platforms that you normally listen to podcasts with, Stitcher, iTunes, Overcast, anything like that. And if you like the show, don't forget to give us a review or tell a friend. As is always the case, you can find us at our website at think-liberty.com, on Facebook at facebook.com/thinkliberty.tl. You can find us on Steemit, Minds, and Twitter at think_liberty. And you can find us on Instagram by searching for Think Liberty, just one word. You know, on this episode, I wanted to do something a little different, and I wanted to go over some stuff that I really hate. And I understand that hate's a pretty strong and dramatic word. I use it here in confidence that this is the appropriate term for this scenario. I hate that the family court system perpetually makes decisions that force families into situations that are the exact opposite of what is best for those families. And it's all done behind a facade that claims it's acting with motivations that are in the best interest of the families that it's destroying. I hate the fact that after you pay for a vehicle, you have to go then pay to have it tracked and entered into a database so it could be legally recognized as legitimate by the state. And only after paying for this state privilege, and then paying an organization whose salary you also pay for a piece of paper that says that the state that you pay to have the ability to exist has allowed you to drive on roads that you paid for. I hate the fact that there's a central organization that has the power to initiate laws that are unjust and go against the will of the people that they are said to protect. And I hate that the people are powerless to fight this central authority. These laws that are imposed on the public at large have repeatedly been historically proven to come from nefarious and unethical places. Imagine you live near a neighborhood and it's got some people in it that you don't like. You see, you're in charge, you make the rules, and you tell everyone how everything's going to go. These people don't like your rules. These people don't like or agree with the way that you're controlling society. The barriers that you've placed in front of the citizens of this neighborhood, the challenges that you've imposed on them day by day without their consent, as you continue to wax on about liberty and freedom, they do not agree. They do not appreciate your control, the overreaching power, the removal of liberty and autonomy. They're legally allowed to arm themselves. They're peacefully protesting and people are listening. The tides are turning against you. Public opinion is not on your side. So instead of doing what's right in accordance to the founding principles of the place that you seem so proud to call your home, you would rather make up new rules. Change the way the game is played to make sure you can win. You see, there's a thing that these people in this community do and they enjoy it. Your policies and your control and your protection have made them so on edge and so tense that people crave and need a release. They find this release through a substance. And all you need to do is wake up one day and decide that this substance is now going to be illegal. And anyone using it is going to be a federal criminal. Never mind the fact that there's a neighborhood, just 2 neighborhoods over, that's using the same substance, but they're just making it in a different way. Does the same thing, really. The people in that community will not become federal criminals. The people in that community will get slaps on the wrists. Nothing substantial enough to cause their life any permanent damage. Oh, but this neighborhood that you're having trouble with, yes, federal criminals. Now, these people can no longer vote you out of office. They're going to have trouble getting a job, so that means that they're going to be kind of easy to push around. They don't have a lot of financial capital laying around to pose an attack. Even when people do have enough capital to pose an attack on you, you can normally beat it. So their chances are gone. And now to make things even better, even though your legal system is based on founding principles that state every individual has the right to bear arms, we can fix that too. All you have to do is make a law that says you don't have the right to bear arms if you're a federal criminal. So now, all those people in that neighborhood you don't like, well, you've made the substance they enjoy illegal. You found a way to get around having this affect the people that you do like because they make it the substance in just a little bit of a different way. So we're going to get that one on a technicality. The good guys won't have to deal with any of this. Meanwhile, that neighborhood full of all those people that you didn't like, full of those people that looked different and talked different and acted different that made you uncomfortable, those people that were constantly going on and on about their rights and their liberties and their freedoms, now you have a way to oppress them, and guess what? It's legal. You've totally flipped the script. Everybody else in all of the surrounding areas thinks that you're doing a virtuous thing. You have the moral high ground. And the best part of all of it after that is you are actually having them pay you to do this to them. And I hate the fact that people actually think this is a good idea. I hate the fact that it's this obvious and no one notices that the United States government extorts the people living within it to have the ability to go and set out on the largest and most egregious discrimination towards segmentations of populations that has ever existed in the modern history of this country. And as if it weren't bad enough, I hate the way that this outlook is then turned and placed on the rest of the world, all made possible because guess who's got the biggest guns? If any of what you just heard you didn't like, well, too bad. Because America's setting up shop next to your country and it's gonna slap you with some goddamn freedom. And I hate the fact that some people are proud to unironically say those kinds of things. I hate that people who are normally, generally rational have been programmed so intensely by the state that they don't understand how pointing your guns at other people all the time seems to not be the best way to avoid war. But these are then the same people who say that they do not support war. I hate that international wars are carried out and still going to support the domestic war the United States government has waged on drugs, and never won, by the way. $60-some-odd billion a year and growing, $50,000 for every inmate. $75,000 for every inmate in California. And nothing has increased the volumes of incarceration quite like the failed drug war. And when this drug war goes on to fund a rootless organization, an immoral and violent group of murderers whose only intention is to do harm and to gain power, is given the funding that it needs to be so powerful by the United States government and the black market that it's created with its failure that is called the drug war. Enough funding to be so powerful to overtake the local governments and impose its power upon the citizens of the country. These citizens then turn and they run as who wants to live underneath the thumb of a violent and murderous drug cartel. And when they run, they come to the United States, whose government is quick to present them with a process that is long, arduous, bureaucratic, and tied up with so many complications and hoops to jump through that there's an incentive to bypass all of this and try to do it in a more expedient manner. And I hate that when this happens, the answer that the American government seeks is not to end the bad policy. It is not to stop funding the organization that has the power to overturn the local governments. No, none of that. What the United States government would rather do is build a wall to make sure that those people running for a better life, running from difficult circumstances that the United States largely helped create, stay where the United States government wants them to stay. This wall is going to cost billions. And the drug policy that created it and the wall itself, you're paying for it. I hate that this is just business as usual. I hate that companies that fail, companies that are often unethical, companies that do far more damage to this planet and to the people on it than they do good, are bailed out and saved from failure because state privilege said so and we foot the bill. And I really hate the Fed. Can we please figure out a way to end that already?